What's the biggest fix that the Pittsburgh Steelers need to make between now and the playoffs? Because this is not a perfect football team. They just beat a team by 1 point, and it was awesome. It was the best way you could have won, in my opinion, because it just got all the juices. You won't go out there and blow out Washington. The conversation is the Steelers are great, but there are also questions of how are the Commanders not that great? The Commanders, the Commanders look good, and the Steelers look better, and that's what you wanted. What's the biggest fix the Pittsburgh Steelers need to make between now and the end of the regular season?
You have to get rid of the unforced errors. And again, we talked about the punt. It's not the call. No. James Pierre, you have to catch the ball. Jaylen Warren, you're going down to the 1 yard line. I understand that probably should have been blown dead because his forward momentum was gone, but you have to protect the football in that situation. You have to get rid of these unforced errors. We've seen them all season long. Sometimes they bite them in the butt. Sometimes they don't bite them in the butt, but you can't give other teams openings. You can't give them windows because look at what we saw yesterday. You gave them that opportunity. You gave them that window, and all of a sudden it's a 7-7 ball game. And from that point on, you really didn't have control of that game for 2 quarters until you finally started to click, until you finally started to get some plays to fall in your favor. If you continue to build momentum and you don't give it away whenever there's no reason to give it away, your team's going to be much better off in the long run. So unforced errors to me is the biggest thing that they need to connect outside of something that's a little out of their control, which is health, but that's a given for all 32 teams in the NFL. So my primary one is you got to eliminate the unforced errors. Secondary, you got to try to stay healthy by any means necessary. I know that's a hard one to do.
Yeah, I agree. The unforced errors are huge, and they're killing the Steelers. Killing you don't need penalties. You know, this game is much better executed without penalties. Joey Porter Jr. is not looked as he had a bad game. He didn't if he doesn't get called for like 3 holding calls. It's a totally different outlook on Joey Porter Jr. and everybody else included. I agree with that. My biggest fix is on the defensive side of the ball. And it's not you have to shore up your man coverage or you got to stop playing zone, which is wild. Why are they playing zone defense? It is simply you have to find a way to get TJ Watt in open space. Guys, there is no better place to be during football season than at a Pittsburgh Steelers game. And now Game Time has this new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live, like the Pittsburgh Steelers, even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. I, as everybody knows, am going to see Creed in a couple of weeks, and it was effortless finding my tickets on Game Time. Why? Because they lay everything out for you. All-in pricing shows you the total up front with no surprise fees at checkouts. Seat views means that you get to see a panoramic view of your seat in the app before you ever buy the tickets. The lowest price guaranteed or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. And Game Time ticket coverage, your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use our code ALLSteelers for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code ALLSTEELERS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game Time. You have to. Because yesterday it went from TJ Watt is getting chipped to TJ Watt is getting chipped, and then he's getting chipped again, and then he's getting double teamed all in one play. It was wild how much, if you go back and look at every play of offensive football for the Washington Commanders yesterday, TJ Watt is chipped or double teamed on every single one of them. And not just, oh, he's going to get an elbow here. No, he's getting another offensive lineman or a tight end or a running back is immediately sliding to him to make sure that they shut him down. That's the best game plan an opponent could come up for TJ Watt. I get it. I'm glad that he's getting the respect due, and I'm glad that he's still putting up numbers so that we can end the stupid, the double team rate, blah, 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 whatever argument that Micah Parsons wanted to make last year. But you got to find a way to get him open. You got to move him to the other side. You got to move him in the middle of the field. You have to relocate TJ Watt as much as you possibly can, or you have to find ways to stack that side of the defensive line so that you can't double team TJ Watt, because that's your X factor. That's your game changer. TJ Watt was non-existent in that game yesterday. And if Alex Highsmith is dealing with an ankle injury and he's going to miss some time, you need to be able to free up TJ Watt. You need to be able to say, hey, you have to respect him, but at the same time, you have to respect everybody else, because that's going to be the difference. Is, can TJ Watt get to Patrick Mahomes? Can TJ Watt get to Lamar Jackson? Can TJ Watt get to Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts and all these guys? Because if he can, I mean, this team is 10 times better. Otherwise, you're hoping for everybody else to do it, and they can, but it's just a game changer when TJ Watt does it. And I don't know how you do it, but I would imagine it comes with moving TJ around quite a bit. And that's just something that the Steelers are probably going to have to do from here on out.
Yeah. I mean, he needs to be an X factor, because that's the way this team is built, that he is going to win you football games. And when teams do as much as they've been doing this season to take him out of the play, I understand that gives you an advantage, because they're allocating so many resources that it allows some of your other defensive players to step up and make plays. Like last night, we saw Patrick Queen step up and have a really good game. We saw Cam Hayward step up and have a multi-sack game against Jaden Daniels. So I understand that it helps, but what did I talk about yesterday whenever we were talking, or not yesterday, last week, when we were talking about the trade deadline? I was like, you didn't go out there and get an X factor. You didn't go out there and get a game changer, because you have them. And that's what you're going to rely on in crunch time. Yesterday, fortunately, one stepped up, and their game changer that stepped up was Russell Wilson. And the biggest moment, 3rd and long, what did he do? He dropped a dime to Mike Williams. That is the X factor play that you have him making. You need that on the defensive side of the football if you want to win Super Bowls, because more often than not, you're going to need more than one X factor play. And TJ finds ways to make little plays here and there. The one play where he got to Jaden Daniels, almost forced the fumble because he got to his elbow. Jaden Daniels, just for some reason, ridiculous strength in that elbow to actually get it coming forward. But he's finding ways to make little impacts. You need him to wreck a game. And I understand it's hard when they're allocating that many resources, but you need to figure out some way. Your response can't just be like, all right, allocate those resources. I trust this defense, because when you're going up against the Chiefs, when you're going up against Josh Allen, those quarterbacks are going to be able to say, all right, we can allocate that, and I can work with less the rest of the field. A guy that's a rookie quarterback might not be able to do that. Cliff Kingsbury might not be able to do that. But a Patrick Mahomes can, a Lamar Jackson can, a Josh Allen can. And that's what we're talking about at the end of the day, is beating those 3 guys, because that's the class of the conference. And that's the end goal at the end of the day.
I agree. And again, I don't know how you do it, but the Steelers have to figure out a way to. And I would imagine that they are trying. I would imagine that they do try, because they're not going to go the back half of the season and say, yeah, TJ will just finish with what he has and we'll be fine. No, especially if you lose Alex Highsmith, you will find ways to get TJ Watt open.